Hello, everyone. I am the worst streamer, I'm sorry. But that's precisely what I am. It is the third time me trying to do this stream, by the way. You know, I always try and make sure everything seems to sound so good, and there's always some stupid thing. And the thing that always manages to make it in is what the the fact that I'm always having audio play over myself because I have something muted, but something is playing and uh, and it picks up that too without me knowing it. So I am a terrible streaming. I've retitled this whole episode "Vernon sucks at streaming" because it is the 100% truth. So can you guys see my screen this time? And see, this time I'm not even sure of that. Is the video capture device working? See, I don't even know if I want to proceed far into this thing anymore because I have no actual idea if I'm coming in right. I think I am, actually. Well, yep, I'm officially the worst streamer on the planet here. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm obviously not an expert at this, but I think the stream is going. I think. I really do think. I hope. But let's try to kind of rehash what all I've even said up to this point. So, freaking drinking hypnotic. I'm not going to explain much on that. I'm just drinking hypnotic right now because that's my drink for the stream. So I think one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the whole. It's really awkward for me to kind of restate things that I already did, but in a poor product that I've gotten rid of since I'm trying to do my best here. Yeah, Dave Rubin, Dennis Prager, fuck him. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have been so surprised, right? But remember, these are the people that profess to be our saviors from the whole woke thing, right? Um, they're professing themselves to be the the antidote and the return to making America, uh, not leftist again or some whatever that they're trying to do. And if this is what we got, then we're in trouble. Um, sorry, lots of things on my mind. Like in my previous two attempts, I've been kind of feeling awful physically and getting better, but I'm all right. And no, it's not because of this one. I've been having issues a little bit since the early part of the day, but I'm feeling better. So maybe it's the nerves, I guess. See, I have a reason to be nervous because this horse shit would happen. Goodness knows. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on the whole Dave Rubin thing. Um, that's going to kind of be a little bit down the line, by the way, because I've got some Janice Fiamengo parts of interviews to still kind of get across. I just released part 2 out of 4 today. She was great to talk to, by the way. We really seem to connect on lots of issues. We seem to be on the same page on just about everything. Um, But back to Dave Rubin. Yeah, I'll make a video. Because it's pretty daring of me to say this, right? But it seems like Dave Rubin was listening to Jordan Peterson too closely here. Like, how he's got the whole "don't question institutions." Now in his book, he probably would have said, "Don't carelessly question them," but you know what that usually means. If you disapprove of that questioning, then it is careless. So, sorry, I'm actually trying to find a link to this live stream so that others can actually tune in, because I've gotten rid of the one I've had before because I'm such a screw up. But it's like Jordan Peterson's either swimming in his head, Dave Rubin's head, or um, he's got him right on his shoulder, kind of like that whole angel and devil thing. And actually, give me just a second here. I'm gonna mute my mic really quick. Or um, he's got him right on his shoulder, kind of like that whole angel and devil thing. And all right, I'm back. I just wanted to be sure that my stream actually sounded right. No layering or anything. See, feel free to tell me how I suck in the live chat or in the comments, because I'm not gonna live this down. Maybe I'll get it someday, maybe, but yeah, I'm just posting to social media. As to where to find my stream, it's probably too late, but who gives an ass? But yeah, I'm going to talk about it. About the Jordan Peterson thing, maybe I'll mention it, because the implications are kind of hair raising if you really think about it. Um, what if this was the first, probably not the first, but the first that we know of circumcision that happened because Jordan Peterson suggested it? Not directly, not saying that Jordan Peterson told him to do it, but so this is another reason I suck. I kind of lose my train of thought. Um, just by the whole tradition thing, kind of, because Dave Rubin was really, how do I put it, hesitant. Actually, he was actually weird. He himself was weirded out by the procedure, but he had to listen to the Jordan Peterson on his shoulder, and you know, let him whisper right into his ear like a rakshasa or something. Um, you know, keep the tradition going. Why break the cycle? You know, your ancestors have been keep on doing it. They must have been onto something, torturing their own children, right? If they're male. So yeah, maybe it'll be you know it'll be daring if I said so. I think not that I'm not daring already, calling out Jordan Peterson, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro on just about everything regarding this subject, but uh, I'd like to see some of their reaction to that. It'll be pretty interesting. But so another thing I wanted to talk about real quick that I don't know if I'll make a video of, because compared to things like MGM, I'm not as versed in it. But the Iran Revolution and such, it's kind of going on and on. Just because some women died, some girls died, that's warranting all these kind of protests, right? Well, here's the thing. This is a mega hot take, by the way. I think this is hashtag bring back our girls all over again, because that whole Michelle Obama thing. The fact is, you know, because the women are getting killed, executed for whatever. That warrants protest. That warrants attention. That warrants hashtag actual patriarchy. But it is my understanding, to the best of my knowledge, that males are killed and executed all the time there, probably more so than the women, and nobody cares. You know, nobody says, you know, actual hashtag actual misandry there. Nobody talks about how boys have it worse even there, because they're really fixated on the idea of the Middle East, Iran, etc., as this quote unquote actual patriarchy, right? You know, this is the time to get to really support the women and hate the males. You know, everybody's kind of indulging in this, even marginally smart ones. Um, the anti woke people are definitely jumping onto this bandwagon. You know, the boys and men be damned, right? You know, be uh, like again Boko Haram all over again. It's the whole hashtag bring back your girls all over again. Um, and you know, maybe this I could stand to do some more research on more of these aspects, but I simply haven't been turning my attention to it. I know it's probably as important. Uh, it's pretty obvious that my main focus for the most part has been on the whole circumcision thing, um, and you know I stand by it because it's a pretty ongoing thing. But you know it's clearly not the only thing I talk about, and the ones you know I should still probably educate myself on those matters. By the way, so I'm going to backtrack a bit before I can kind of move on to some more cheerful kind of things. You know, I like to talk about, you know, I like to send message, not send messages. I mean, like respond to posts on Twitter about some people kind of, you know, saying, you know, anti-transgender surgeries, this and that, right? You know, all well and good. It's just a very particular kind of fraction of the child genital mutilation issue, and so I asked them um, publicly. Um, Sorry, I'm being a terrible streamer right now. You know, are you going to include as equal of a energy in condemning male infant genital mutilation? I usually don't get an answer, but one time I did when I asked Deb Philman of this. Deb Philman, she's on Twitter, but she's also a YouTuber in a video series and channel called The Reason We Learn, which she does some interviews, some talks about, uh, for lack of a better term, homeschooling. She I think that's kind of her bread and butter, so to speak. But she actually responded, which is more than I can say for some others and some detractors of intactivism. That you know she was actually against infant male genital mutilation, and I actually discovered separately uh, that she said that in the advent of people calling out transgender surgeries, maybe people will start rethinking their stance on male circumcision. So you know, all things considered, that was good to see. But she also added to my reply that she did not want to actually debate the subject, and b she actually thought that there was some marginally rational reasons to do it compared to the transgender things. Well, I told her, you know, I wasn't going to press her because, you know, despite the fact that, you know, it's a bit convenient for them to say that they want to debate this subject, I still try to be respectful and say, and, you know, not provoke them as such. But I did respond that I disagreed, that there was any rational reason for male genital mutilation. Um, and here's the thing. Um, the very minuscule chance, the off chance that Deb Philman, you are actually watching this stream. Um, why would you watch this stream, especially the one that sucks so much, is beyond me. But if you are, hear me out here. Let's have a talk. Your channel is good at that because that's kind of what uh, your thing is, and it's my channel is kind of what I'm doing too. So let's either your place or my place. I'm speaking metaphorically. Your channel or my channel. Um, let's talk about the male circumcision problem, infant male circumcision problem, and I'd like to try and convince you that the health reasons, the religious reasons, they're all bogus. The hygiene reasons, garbage. You know. So let's have a civil talk about this one. We'll be polite but firm, right? We'll be honest, not mince words, not make so nice that we can't get each other's points across. But let's have a real talk, a real debate, if you will. I'd be interested in that. Now, another person I want to talk about, who is less forthcoming, is Lauren Chen, because she spends a lot of time extolling and kissing the ass of Matt Walsh. And here's the thing, Lauren Chen, as we know, is not actually for infant male genital mutilation, right? Because she made this somewhat clear in an HBR talk back in 2018. It was a talk with Brian Martinez and Karen Strawn. But before that again, it was 2018. Back in as far as back as 2016, she had some embarrassing tweets at the time that were kind of recently uncovered that I've been noticing, um, in which she was talking about uh, every way to combat AIDS in Africa and such is fine with me, and they should do this voluntary circumcision thing if they wanted to, without really knowing that, without really kind of processing that it's kind of it's basically a scam, right? It's a big scam. Um, just because you support something voluntarily done doesn't mean you don't dissuade them. And I saw a conspicuous lack of dissuasion on her part. She seems to be okay with genitals being mutilated. She even said that if labiaplasties prevented female venereal diseases, she'd be all for it. What an idiotic statement, right? But I'm getting off track here. She has not said anything in recent years about male infant genital mutilation because she's too busy being a Matt Walsh stan, a Ben Shapiro buddy bud, really. And I've left some comments on her statuses, but there's been no response. It could be she generally doesn't notice people that's outside of the whole, following not circle of whoever the network of who they're following. I don't know. I don't really know how well Twitter works in regards to that, but it also could be that she's muted me. Who knows? But I sent her a message, polite but firm, confronting her about the hypocrisy of the likes of Matt Walsh and inviting her to come to my channel or again same with Deb Philman, my channel or your channel. Let's talk about this issue because it's the most prevalent and the most normalized. So yeah, as you can expect, I still haven't received an answer on that one. I'm not really expecting to. I'll be inordinately surprised that if she does respond, even if she were just going to cuss me out or whatever. But so I got that going on, which is nice. So yeah, in between talking about gynocentrism and MGM and the Bring Back Our Girls Part 2, a lot of downer shit, really. To counterbalance that, I kind of want to do something more on the cheerful side of things. So I'm actually doing a nostalgic anime review series, uh, uh, quite a few of them, different series, and I've been trying to kind of gauge which ones everybody would kind of want to see first. And basically, the premise of this series is going to be, hopefully, I'll get it going soon enough. But the premise is that I'll take what is considered a TV series that is either nostalgic to me or falls under that same group of anime that's actually kind of on the obscure side of things. It didn't uh, get as much traction, right? Um, by the way, I am going to pause my mic again because I still want to be sure that I'm coming across right here. Uh, get as much traction, right? Um, okay, I'm still good because here's the thing. I had a person in the chat just say that I was coming in good, and then all of a sudden, because of my own fault, the audio started to get layered and layered and layered without me noticing it because you know. All right, so what was I talking about here? Oh yeah, anime. So it's not stuff like say Pokemon because that's gotten some kind of major acceptance in American society and others. Um, Same with things like, for instance, what other anime, like more mainstream, like really mainstream ones in the Western world, like the original not the original, but like the normal Yu-Gi-Oh series, or I already mentioned Pokemon, maybe Sailor Moon, I guess. Things like Bleach. By the way, I started watching Bleach on Crunchyroll, and by the time I got the episode like 40, somewhere between 42 and 47, they got rid of Bleach from Crunchyroll, and I was so pissed. Right when I was starting to watch it and starting to really like it too. Um, God, Crunchyroll can suck ass. Um, but yeah, more well-known stuff like that. I probably won't be touching. Um, but it'll be more stuff that I either have grown up with or could have grown up with if I watched it then. But it turns out I really like it now. I'll cover only stuff I've already watched in recent time, at least. So I want to see if this kind of works out here. If OBS doesn't cooperate with me. Okay, so I have it on the good authority that me switching the scene right there is going to cut out my audio. So I'm not going to do that. So screw it. I'll just talk about it rather cold and everything. So there are four candidates I chose for an anime series. Um, to review now, and the thing is, I'm going to review all of them. I just kind of wanted to get a good idea of what people were interested in, so I can kind of prioritize one over the others. So the first of the four choices is Bakuso Kyodai Let's Go. That's the anime about the mini four-wheel drives. Lots of fun. It's probably one of my favorites. I wanted to show some images. Actually, I am going to show some images. I'm just going to not talk while I have them on there. By the way, the reason why I'm not able to talk while these things are on because maybe it's the bad way I've set it up, but it was really screwing with the mic. It was kind of overflowing it. It was oversaturating it. Sounded like noise. Probably because I wasn't handling the audio input capture properly for each of those scenes. But here we go. All right, that last one, that was kind of like a quick look at some Mini 4 WDs. Like, if I were better at doing this, I probably would have let it sit on those images and I'd talk about them. But yeah, it's an anime about Mini 4-wheel drives. They come with little motors and some batteries. You put them together. Like, think plastic models if they actually ran. Like, so it's kind of an intermediary between, say, Hot Wheels and radio control cards. Basically, something you just switch on, battery powered, and run across a circuit in real life. Anyway, the anime, of course, takes it to greater levels that real life could never reach. But it makes for an interesting 3 seasons, and I actually consider it my favorite of all of them. I'm very, very tempted to actually start off the series with Bakuto Kyodai Let's Go. Um, but I kind of want to gauge people some more. Actually, I have a poll in my Twitter in which you know I wanted to kind of see if anybody was interested in any one of the four, and I got 2 votes only for a different one called. It is actually what is referred to as Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero. Now, it's not an actual prequel to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that's been going on that we know of, that we can find on Crunchyroll and everything. Um, it's actually more like a. So here's the thing. Um, it's based off the first volume of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, and what it was is before the Duel Monsters card game in the manga. We call it just Yu-Gi-Oh! Here in the real world, but it's about so depending on if you know what the point of the main character is, he's assembled this thing called a Millennium Puzzle, and he's got a forgotten ancient Egyptian pharaoh as kind of like a second personality, which in itself I thought was interesting because it's kind of that quasi Jungian, shadow self kind of a deal, which kind of gives him a much more stronger kind of a personality in contrast to his more amiable, often naive kind of everyday self, right? Um, so I'm assuming you guys kind of know what I'm talking about here, but in this so-called season zero, it's a separate series, right? It's like again, it's not a prequel to anything. It's just its own kind of series, kind of going its own way. Um, so it's about there's some evil doing people, very sleazy people, and sometimes violent people, right? Um, Victimizing certain people, but dark Yugi, but and we always call him Yami Yugi, but Yami just means dark, so I'm just gonna call him Dark Yugi. Um, uh, he kind of his personality shows up, and he gets gets the the villain of the episode to play a game with him, whatever kind of game it is, and he sets the rules. And of course, there's this whole supernatural quality to it if the villain were to lose. But the villain would usually cheat, of course, and that kind of warrants a supernatural sort of punishment each time. So why spoil it here, right? Well, why don't you listen to me in this review and commentary series for the for the anime? But that's what I want to do with this series of reviewing nostalgic anime, because it'll be in my signature style, right? I'll do kind of a red pill perspective, kind of anti gynocentric, and everything particular to me, my outlook. Objectivism probably factors in. Libertarianism probably factors in. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I want to have fun with, and it's probably not just anime that I want to do it, but I might want to do like a Super Sentai and Power Rangers comparison series because I've been getting the Super Sentai series on DVD as of late, and other shows like Star Trek. I want to do Star Trek. I definitely want to do Star Trek comprehensively, and other shows like say MASH or whatever. Um, but yeah, back to the anime. I said I had four choices. I've already talked about two. Um, so the other two. What was it? Sorry, there's some background noise happening. It's really kind of screwing with my concentration here. Oh yeah, that's right. I want to do a series called Machine Hero Wataru or Machine Eiyuden Wataru. Um, a really entertaining series. It's a mecha series basically. It's getting on robots and fighting enemy robots, that kind of thing, and advancing on levels. In fact, it's kind of very almost to a T, based on how the plot is set up. The fantastic world that the series are set on is on seven different levels. It's a world that's kind of like seven stacked levels. So it's kind of there's almost like a video game feel about it, which is kind of neat. And but yeah, it's basically robot warrior fights. It's not quite Gundam. It's more kid accessible. Again, this is kind of nostalgic kind of evening, not evening, but like afternoon kind of shows that I grew up with. For context, since I can't really do actually I did since I did actually ready up some images, I'll just shut up for a few seconds and show you some imagery. And I found this in a mall in Minnesota, by the way. It's one of the robots of one of the guys. Not opened yet, obviously. But yeah, it's basically just a show about about fighting. It's funny. It's really funny fantasy kind of action. So that's something I want to cover too. Since I already did that, I should probably just did some stills with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff as well. Or that last thing you saw was basically the first Bandai version of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. It was not like the Yu-Gi-Oh card game we're basically seeing today. Just for example, I guess I've got a folder handy here. These kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? The where the back looks kind of like this and everything. Um, but yeah, it was a previous incarnation of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and the rules were much more kind of simplistic and primitive. And even then, I didn't really kind of understand it. You know, uh, but yeah, then the one we know, the game we knew, kind of came and took it completely over. I actually have the old Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh cards somewhere, I believe. I don't have it handy right now. I don't know where they got stashed away, but if I ever do find them, I will showcase them on my own channel. But yeah, talking back to the Yu-Gi-Oh Season Zero, the card game actually exists. The Bandai version, at least, of the card game does exist, but it doesn't dominate the series. Um, on occasion, there's some episodes that have them play the game. Um, as opposed to some one-off thing that happens as like the game of the day or the game of the week per episode. It's a good it's a good series, I thought, and I thought the final story arc was very satisfying and to the series. Honestly, I would highly recommend it, but I hope you guys tune in and hear me talk about it on the review series that I would inevitably do. Now, the last one I want to talk about is Tobe Isami or Sorhai Isami. Let me do some very quick imagery here. So yeah, this time it's a girl protagonist, right? But it's not one of those kind of dainty girly shows like Sailor Moon or something like that, or Cardcaptor Sakura or something like that. Um, the you saw two other male characters, and they're not just lackeys, they're not just sidekicks that don't do anything. No, the three of them are uh, pretty equally a team in that series, and nobody's subordinate to anyone. There are three friends that are this team of heroes in their story. Um, I actually thought it was a really good series, and the ending was very original. I thought. I'm not going to spoil anything right now, but it was a very creative ending that I wouldn't have thought. That was also very satisfying. It's one of those things. Boys can enjoy this particular series because the main plot may center around what's going on in the girl Isami's life, but it's not about girl power bullshit. Nobody's condescended. Well, there isn't a show on the planet that doesn't have a trace of gynocentrism, but you take what you can get, right? And all things considered, this is a show that has a lot of healthy balance in regards to that one. So so it's really so these are the four that I kind of want to start off with. It's kind of a toss up right now. I don't want my poll on Twitter to be like the thing that dictates what I do first. And once again, I'm gonna do all four of them. I'd definitely love to do all four of them. But but having a good idea for what to start off with is pretty helpful, I think, because I got to start somewhere. Um, I'm glad that people seem to be thrilled with the idea of me doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero. If they even know what I'm talking about, I hope they know I'm talking about this separate series that preceded the anime that most of the meme material is happening right now. And the thing about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero, once again, based on the very first volume of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, is that it's much darker. The punishments, while they aren't like killing them or anything like that, it's much darker fates than uncomfortable subject matters than American audiences tend to be used to. Um, it's ironic, isn't it? You know, here's the thing about America. Despite all the talk about me hating Americans for their ignorance about the MGM thing, I still love what this country is supposed to be about. And this land, I love it. You know, um, it's probably you can probably argue that's why I'm passionate about opening everybody's eyes on this barbaric subject. But all things considered, I love America. I really do. I say this without hesitation. That being said, I'll have to say that Americans do not have their full potential, especially when it comes to the more uh, quasi politically correct kind of and not just the left. I'm talking about the right too. It's kind of this whole um, aversion to what they might perceive as indecency. It's like the whole guns and violence on kids TV kind of a thing. Japan's a bit more thick-skinned country because they allow a few more things in their kids shows, um, like like blood, violence, occasional naughtiness. I'm not saying that they're trying to groom kids or anything like that. It's more taken for humor. Let's just put it that way. Um, and here in the United States nowadays, we're talking about getting rid of guns from Looney Tunes, despite the fact that, to their credit, Looney Tunes have had crazy guns on their show, and it's a lot of fun. Lots of cartoonish violence. Um, yeah, it's not all bad. It's just kind of getting worse. Uh, the whole I get this kind of PTO vibe happening here about trying to put your kids in a bubble and not teach them about things like violence and other suggestive themes in a way that kind of makes them completely naive to the situation. You get what I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about exposing them in such a direct manner that'll be actually problematic. But what I'm saying is, all things considered, Westerners, Americans especially, have thin skin. Um, that was a big time tangent here. I'm gonna drink this hypnotic. In a second, I'll pour myself some more. Yeah, if you guys are watching, just give me your thoughts in the chat and everything. Like, assure me that I'm not alone in this world of chatting, because you know, I'll admit it a billion times over. I suck at streaming. This is the probably the worst stream you've ever seen in your entire life, whether it's live or after the fact. This is such an amateurish ass hack job. You know, I prepared for the best. I got this new mic and everything like that. Okay, Spider the Fanatic. Thanks for coming into to the chat here. What's that I'm drinking today is Hypnotic. I try to do like a different drink every stream. Last time I had absinthe. Hypnotic is a liqueur product of France made with an exquisite blend of premium vodka, cognac, and natural tropical fruit juices. 17% alcohol and all that. I know it's probably one of the more prissier drinks I can be drinking. The so-called alphas was saying, you're an idiot or something like that. But oh my god. But I like it. It's like I like me some whiskey. I like me some of the rougher craft beers, but I like the sweet stuff too. So if they don't like it, they can screw off. I'm just going to enjoy the Hypnotic, because that is this episode. That was actually supposed to be right in the title, but this is my third attempt today to actually do this stream, because I've been terrible at streaming. That's why I actually called this Vernon Sucks at Streaming instead of what would have been my usual formula, like alcohol name and some other subjects. Spider the Fanatic says, I've never been much of a drinker, so I don't judge. Okay, that's fair. It's kind of like how some people call Mike's Hard Lemonade like a girly beer or something like that. Um, uh, I haven't had Mike's Hard Lemonade in a long time, but I liked it. It's like like I'd been in this party, and there was some guys and there were some girls and everything like that, and I wanted a bit of the Mike's Hard Lemonade, but the host was like, this is for the girls, man. So I was kind of silly, but whatever. I like. How about now? Can you hear me? Spider the Fanatic? Can you hear me right now? This is not good for streaming. Like, it was going so well, you know? And then it starts to kind of oversaturate. Um, yeah, this is not going to be streaming material at all. I think this will be good for like recording some stuff for music, but not for a stream. This is such horseshit. Alright, so I'm just gonna disconnect this garbage. This is my webcam mic that I'm using right now. I'm not looking forward to hearing this when I revisit this. This is gonna suck. But anyway. Alright, I'm just gonna stream like this from now on. This is embarrassing, honestly. Yep. Vernon Sucks at Streaming. Yep, that's the title of the stream, and it's the truth. So I'm trying to figure out what I was saying as the mic would have screwed up. Yeah, I was talking about 4 anime series. Boxel Kyodai Let's Go is the mini 4-wheel drive one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, that's the Needle predecessor to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series we currently have now, and the many successor series to it. Machine Hero Wataru, that's the mecha series, the adventure fantasy. Very funny, but very action packed. I really love it. And also the last one is Sorhai Isami, also known as Tobe Isami, which was originally aired in the NHK, which is kind of like, I think it's supposed to be Japanese PBS, but it's still a good show. It has a female protagonist, but she's basically equal to her teammates in her hero troop for that series, and it's really good. Once again, I really like the ending. It's very creative and satisfying. Let me know which guys you want to see me cover first. I'll cover them all, but I just want to prioritize my which ones I'm doing first and everything like that. And I might do them concurrently too. Basically, whichever I feel like doing a few episodes on this day, whatever. Um, I'll do it. Trying to think if there was anything else I really wanted to talk about today. Oh yes. Sorry, I'm very easily distracted kind of a guy, so I was just looking at something else. Um, Magic the Gathering. Let's talk Magic the Gathering. The world of Wizards of the Coast and what the recent horse shit happening with what is their latest release, the 30th anniversary edition. So what they're doing for their 30th anniversary, and this is so ridiculous that the backlash is almost unanimous here. It's kind of like I've heard it being compared to like how humanity united on Independence Day to fight the aliens or something like that. All the different ideologies, the religions, they're all coming together to fight this evil force. And this was the thing that everybody's almost united against. So, if you follow Magic the Gathering, so the Alpha and Beta series of limited edition Alpha, limited edition Beta. Now they're either ridiculously valued, you can't find it anywhere, but it's basically the 2 iterations of the first set, right? The first, what we call the core set. and it's the one that has the things like the original dual lands and the Power 9, Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, the Moxen, you know. So their new product is basically a a small box of 4 booster packs of 15 cards of randomized uh, proxies of cards from the beta set, and specifically the reason it's the beta set is because Alpha originally had some printing problems, including the complete exclusion of Volcanic Island, which was rectified in beta. So that's why they're probably doing beta. But here's the thing: so they're official proxies. You know, it's like saying official bootleg, but it's official unplayable cards that are sold as collector's items, and the price for 4 packs, which you can't buy just one of, you have to buy the set of 4, is $999. In other words, $1,000. They're trying to sell us $1,000 worth of fake cards that you can't play in a sanctioned tournament for $1,000. And if you think this is the height of condescension, it is. You'd be absolutely right. Like, so why would anyone use proxies? Well, it's because a card is usually so overvalued in the secondary market that you might as well just use your own ink printer and some hard bit of cardboard, put it in a sleeve, and play it like a regular Magic card. And that doesn't cost much, right? And the thing is, the guys who can't afford like actual cards that kind of go close to that, maybe they're like 1,000, maybe a couple $1,000s, maybe even like a couple hundred. They're the ones playing with proxies usually, right? So here, Wizards comes out with this new official set of proxies, including the ever coveted Black Lotus, and it costs almost more than some of the real cards that one would actually kind of go and seek out. You know, they call it a collector's item, so it's for collectors only. So the idiots, am I strong in calling them idiots? No, I mean like over entitled people that they have the money to blow on this one. It sounds like I'm insulting them, but they're the ones. Usually the only ones that are kind of offering a kind of a defense on this product anyway, so I don't feel as bad. In essence, they're this is kind of almost geared towards them, but even they are not so sure of that. And in terms of price range, it's geared towards them, but they can buy just about any card on the market usually, and they can buy boxes and boxes and boxes of booster boxes. So it's again, it's calling into question who this product is meant for. It pretends like it's for users of proxies, but the users of proxies are not exactly financially well off, so no one can blame anyone for saying that this is an insulting sort of a product, right? Like, if anything, it kind of justifies people using products more so in their day-to-day gaming, And the thing about the Power 9 that they're proxying in this $1,000 set is that those cards are banned in the most popular format right now anyway, which is the casual format of Commander, or or EDH, alternately known as. I primarily play Commander, right? And I can't play a Black Lotus or the Moxen or whatever because in the Commander format it's banned. Even if I were to do a proxy of them, they would be considered not actually allowed in the. Well, I mean, I don't know if there is any play groups that allow such a thing, but all things considered, it's a completely unusable product, you know? So, the best case scenario is that nobody buys this product, at least enough people don't buy this product, shove it in Wizard's face, to tell them that this is garbage, you've gone too far, you're just a opportunistic cash grabber, but I think the reality of the matter is there are going to be people zealous enough to actually buy this thing. And Wizards will never learn their lesson, you know. We all keep on buying their product, and I'm guilty of this. I've gotten quite a bit of their new set, but I haven't gotten their more recent expensive thing is the the Double Masters 2022 collector booster, which goes to like $80. I'm not getting that shit. Not for that kind of money. Like, here's the thing: if these proxies were worth maybe $10, maybe that would have been a great idea. I'm fine with selling official proxies if it were proxy kind of price range. Even if it were, if the collection were $99.99, it'll be better than 1,000. And maybe icing on the cake, it'll be like the whole set. Instead of some like randomized cards. You're not even guaranteed to get like a very particularly valuable card. You probably just get some horse shit that you already have some other edition of. But yeah, this was like you'd want to see the face of who is stupid enough to put money towards this product, right? If you're not some really rich kind of guy that's made their investments in this whole thing, right? So yeah, that's a bit of a rant there. I just mentioned it because it's kind of interesting to see where Wizards is going after what I think are mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, right? So anyway, but anyway, it's been a crazy evening. I obviously don't know how to stream. Maybe if I keep doing it, I'll get better at it. Maybe I'll get through one stream without a problem. One stream without having to restart the whole damn thing. But expect this kind of stuff. I know Honey Badger Radio has their technical difficulties kind of thing. It's almost sort of a meme in our closed circles. It's not a Honey Badger show without technical difficulties. Stuff like that. Spider Fanatic says Fate has forced them to charge so much, supply chains or some shit. Wizards really do seem to need an overhaul. I think it's like they still haven't fixed card stock, at least as far as I know. Some of it's okay, but it's been pretty bad since the Ixalan block, I think. And they're injecting more and more and more kind of politically correct shit. They're kind of smuggling it into their artwork and everything like that. At the sacrifice of the story, and they keep doing like all these crossover things too. Like, I hate the fact that they're doing Warhammer. Like, you can't even fix your own timeline, and you have to kind of bring in other franchises and make Magic cards out of them. This is not the win that you think it is, Wizards. But at least that's my opinion. It probably is a win in terms of those that actually might uh, get into this no matter what. And if people are going to play these kind of cards in Commander, it's only in my best interest to at least be educated about them, even if I don't want to. Same with the new unset that's mostly legal to play in normal Magic, which is what an idiotic idea, honestly. But yeah, I'm kind of really running out of steam right now. Like it's been nuts. Like been trying to do damage control with my stream and everything like that. For what it's worth, I hope you enjoyed me making a fool of myself, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. I kind of wanted to talk about the MGMs, the Matt Walsh stuff at first, Dave Rubin and PragerU stuff at first. Definitely expect a video on that one. I'm just trying to get out my Janice Fiamengo interview parts. There's 4 in total, and I only got like half of them thus far. So get those out first, then I'll record a commentary about the whole Dave Rubin cutting his kids despite his own uh, suspicions about the priesthood, because it's always been done. The ancestors, they must be doing something right. What horseshit is this, really? But I'm gonna save my energy for that video. I will inevitably make. It might be within the next week. Who knows? Maybe I want to give myself a bit of a break, but I'll get it in before the subject becomes too less relevant. Um, Spider the Fanatic says, I will try to catch your next stream on time. Hopefully, I'll have a smooth stream starting off the next time I do. So, it's so embarrassing, these errors of mine. Like, I can't do one thing right when it comes to streams, but at least I'm coming across clearly. I think you could see me just fine. And, um, yeah, their excuses for cutting are always crap. They're always crap. You're absolutely right. Like there is no good reason, right? Some people say there's no reason. Well, there's always bad reasons, and they always use the bad reasons. So expect a video on that one. And I can't resist talking about it now. I'll talk about it in the video, but I'm gonna say it now. Can't. Did you notice Dennis Prager having uh, a total and complete jizz fest overhearing that? Like, now we're talking about that bit of a sample that's been kind of circulating around Twitter, um, with sufficient backlash, which is pleasantly surprising to see. But yeah, but Dennis Prager has this abnormally euphoric reaction upon hearing that Dave Rubin cut his son. So, it's gotten me thinking. Normally, I would recommend people watch films like American Circumcision. Now, I myself haven't watched American Circumcision because I was kind of against this thing for a while before this movie even came out. Maybe I'll watch it sometime, so I can at least properly recommend it to some people. It's probably going to be a painful thing to kind of go through, but it's probably necessary. But my point is, don't show Dennis Prager American Circumcision, because he's not going to be persuaded, but instead he is probably going to jerk off to it. If his reaction to Dave Rubin was any indication. So that was a bit of a spoiler, but I'll probably mention that again in the video that I'm inevitably going to make. So, thank you, Spire the Fanatic, for joining. If there's anybody else that's been listening, thank you for listening to me make a complete ass of myself. I'll get better, I promise. It's best to stay optimistic and actually learn from my own mistakes, right? So, I'm not looking forward to where the audio really craps out on me, like while this thing. Yeah, that new mic, I bought that new mic, and I hoped it would be kind of an aid to anything, but I think maybe the fact that it's a stream is kind of messing with it. I don't know, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's worth doing another test live stream again in the middle of the week before I do my episode 3. Um, you know, instead of calling this series in person live, I think I might just call it Vernon Sex at Streaming, like the whole series, not just this episode. It's a funny thought to end on, but we'll see. Like, if you guys think Vernon Sex at Streaming is a better title for this podcast, tell me, and I might. Um, but anyway, I'm just about running out of steam. I'm gonna drink myself into getting sleepier and everything like that. I'm just so beat. Thanks for watching me slog through this. I know it's a bit of an awkward experience, but I appreciate each and every one of you. So take care, folks. See ya.